Dr. Emma Rodriguez stared at the computer screen in her small laboratory on Luna Research Station. The numbers made no sense. For 3 weeks, she had been running the same experiment over and over, trying to understand why her quantum field generator was using so little power. Every textbook said what she was attempting should be impossible, yet the machine kept working perfectly. The laboratory was quiet, except for the soft hum of equipment. Emma worked alone most nights, preferring the silence. To focus on her research, she was studying exotic matter, the strange substance that allowed faster-than-light travel. Most scientists believed they understood everything about exotic matter, but Emma suspected they were wrong. Her assistant, Jake Morrison, walked into the lab carrying 2 cups of coffee. He was a young engineer from Earth who had volunteered for the boring job of helping with Emma's research. Most people thought her work was pointless. The galactic community had already figured out space travel and communication. What more could humans possibly discover? "Still getting those weird readings?" Jake asked, handing Emma a cup. Emma nodded and pointed at her screen. "Look at this. I should need at least 10,000 units of power to create a stable quantum field. But my generator is only using 200 units and creating an even stronger field than expected." Jake looked at the numbers and shrugged. "Maybe your power meter is broken." "I thought so too, but I checked it 5 times. The meter works fine." Emma took a sip of coffee and continued staring at her data. "There's something different about the way I'm arranging the quantum particles. It's like they want to stay connected even when I separate them." The 2 researchers had been working together for 6 months. Jake originally came to Luna Station because he needed experience for his engineering degree. He planned to leave after a year and get a real job building starships, but Emma's strange experiments had caught his interest. She approached problems differently than other scientists. Where most people followed established rules, Emma questioned everything. "What if you tried connecting particles across a longer distance?" Jake suggested. "Maybe we could set up a receiver on Mars." Emma laughed. "That would be crazy. Quantum communication over interplanetary distances? The energy requirements would be enormous." But even as she said it, Emma was already thinking about the possibility. Her current setup created stable connections between particles separated by only a few meters. The connection required almost no energy to maintain once established. If the same principle worked over longer distances, it could change everything. Meanwhile, far above Earth's moon, an alien observer watched human activities with mild interest. Kethvar belonged to a species called the Zephyrians, known throughout the galaxy for their logical thinking and technological expertise. He had been assigned to monitor human development as part of the Galactic Hegemony's routine surveillance program. The hegemony consisted of 12 advanced alien species who had formed an alliance thousands of years ago. They controlled most of the galaxy and decided which younger species were ready for advanced technology. Humans had only recently developed faster-than-light travel, making them one of the newest species to join galactic civilization. From Kethvar's perspective, humans were typical of primitive species. They used brute force methods for everything. Their spaceships required enormous fusion engines to achieve faster-than-light speed. Their communication systems needed massive amounts of power to send messages between star systems. Everything humans built was bigger, louder, and less efficient than proper galactic technology. Another human research facility, Kethvar noted in his daily report. They continue their inefficient experiments with quantum mechanics. No significant developments detected. The Zephyrian had been monitoring human science for 2 years. He had seen hundreds of human researchers working on various projects. Most tried to copy existing galactic technology rather than develop anything new. This made sense to Kethvar. Primitive species needed thousands of years to develop truly advanced science. Back in Emma's laboratory, the coffee had grown cold while she worked on calculations. Jake had gone to sleep hours ago, but Emma could not stop thinking about long-distance quantum communication. The mathematics were incredibly complex, but something about the equations felt right. She started building a new experimental setup. Instead of connecting particles across her laboratory, she would try to connect them between Luna Station and a receiver she could place in orbit around Earth. The distance was much greater than anything attempted before, but her earlier experiments suggested it might work. Emma worked through the night, carefully adjusting her quantum field generator. She had to modify several components to handle the increased range. The work required precision because even small errors could cause the entire system to fail catastrophically. As dawn approached on the lunar surface, Emma finally completed her preparations. She had built a small receiver device that Jake could take to Earth orbit in a shuttle. If her theory was correct, the two devices would maintain a quantum connection across the distance between Earth and Moon. Jake arrived for work and found Emma still in the laboratory, surrounded by modified equipment and pages of calculations. "Did you sleep at all?" Jake asked. "Sleep is for people who are not about to revolutionize galactic communication," Emma replied with a tired smile. "I need you to take this receiver to Earth orbit. We're going to test quantum communication across interplanetary distance." Jake looked at the small device Emma had built. "You really think this will work?" "Honestly, I have no idea. But if it does work, it will prove that humans can develop technology that rivals anything in the galaxy." Neither Emma nor Jake realized that their experiment would be detected by sensitive alien monitoring equipment. The quantum fields they planned to create would produce energy signatures, unlike anything seen before in human space. These signatures would reach alien sensors throughout the solar system. Kethvar's monitoring station automatically recorded every electromagnetic emission from human territory. His computers were programmed to alert him about unusual energy patterns that might indicate advanced technology development. However, the computers were calibrated based on known galactic science. They would not recognize Emma's quantum signature as artificial technology. Emma spent the morning making final preparations while Jake prepared for his trip to Earth orbit. Neither researcher understood that they were about to demonstrate capabilities that would shock the galactic scientific community. For thousands of years, every species had assumed that efficient quantum communication was impossible. The energy requirements were simply too great. But Emma had discovered something that advanced alien civilizations had missed. By approaching the problem from a completely different angle, using techniques that seemed primitive but were actually more elegant, she had found a solution that had eluded galactic science for millennia. As Jake's shuttle departed Luna Station, carrying the quantum receiver, Emma activated her laboratory equipment. In a few hours, they would attempt something that every galactic textbook said could not be done. 3 months had passed since Emma Rodriguez successfully transmitted her first quantum message from Luna Station to Earth orbit. The test had worked perfectly, using only a tiny fraction of the power that conventional galactic communication required. Word of the breakthrough had spread quickly through human space, though Emma had asked everyone to keep the discovery secret from alien observers. Captain Lisa Carter stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel New Horizons, watching. Her communications officer installed the new quantum communicator. Lisa had been chosen to field test Emma's technology during a mission to explore the outer edges of the solar system. Her ship would travel farther from Earth than any human vessel had gone before. "Installation complete, Captain," reported the communications officer. "We're ready to test the connection." Lisa nodded. Traditional radio communication with Earth would take hours at their current distance. If Emma's quantum system worked as promised, they would have instant contact with home no matter how far they traveled. "Open a channel to Earth Command," Lisa ordered. The response came immediately. "New Horizons. This is Earth Command. We read you perfectly. How is the signal quality on your end?" Lisa smiled. The clarity was perfect, as if Earth Command was in the next room rather than billions of kilometers away. "Signal is excellent, Earth Command. This technology is going to change everything." She was right. Within weeks of Lisa's successful test, human colonies throughout the solar system were installing quantum communicators. The Mars colonies could now coordinate mining operations with Earth in real time. The asteroid belt workers could report emergencies instantly instead of waiting hours for help. Even civilian families living on different worlds could have normal conversations across the vast distances of space. Dr. Ryan Walsh, a military strategist working for Earth Defense Command, immediately recognized the implications of Emma's discovery. He had been studying galactic military tactics for years, trying to understand how human forces could compete with advanced alien armies. Most galactic species had superior weapons and faster ships, but they all suffered from the same communication delays that had plagued humanity. Ryan requested a private meeting with Emma at Luna Station. He arrived with a small team of military engineers who had been sworn to secrecy. Dr. Rodriguez, your quantum communication system could give humanity a decisive advantage in any conflict, Ryan explained. Imagine coordinating our entire fleet as if every ship was part of a single organism. While enemy forces struggle with communication delays, our commanders could adapt to changing situations instantly. Emma was uncomfortable with the military applications of her discovery. She had hoped to use quantum communication for peaceful scientific research and civilian purposes. But she understood that humanity might need every advantage to survive in a galaxy full of more advanced species. What do you need from me? Emma asked. We want to build a secure military version of your communicator, something that enemy forces cannot intercept or jam. Emma agreed to help, with the condition that civilian applications would continue to receive priority. She worked with Ryan's team to develop quantum encryption methods that would make human military communications completely secure. The encryption used quantum entanglement in ways that made interception theoretically impossible. As human coordination improved dramatically, alien observers began noticing unusual patterns. Kethvar received reports from other hegemony scouts, who were monitoring human activities across multiple star systems. The reports described human colonies and ships operating with impossible precision and timing. The humans appear to be making decisions simultaneously across light years of distance, one scout reported. Their mining operations, trade convoys, and exploration missions all coordinate perfectly, despite being separated by vast distances. Kethvar reviewed the data carefully. The patterns were indeed unusual, but he could not believe that primitive humans had developed superior communication technology. The mathematics of long-distance quantum communication were well understood by galactic science. The energy requirements made such systems impractical, except for the most critical government communications. Humans are probably just getting lucky with their timing, Kethvar concluded. Primitive species sometimes appear more organized than they actually are. The first real test of human coordination came during a border dispute with the Krillian Empire. The Krillians were a militant species known for testing the defenses of newer galactic civilizations. They had been expanding their territory by attacking weaker species and claiming their worlds. A Krillian fleet of 30 ships entered human space near the colony of Haven Prime. The Krillians expected an easy victory against what they considered a primitive human settlement. According to their intelligence, humans still used slow communication methods and could not coordinate defensive actions effectively. Commander Sarah Blake commanded the human defense forces at Haven Prime. Her fleet consisted of only 10 ships, making the situation appear hopeless by conventional standards. But Sarah had been equipped with Ryan Walsh's military quantum communicators, allowing her to coordinate not just with her own ships, but with human forces throughout the region. As the Krillian fleet approached Haven Prime, Sarah opened quantum channels to human commanders in 3 nearby star systems. Within minutes, she had organized a coordinated response involving 40 human ships converging on the battle zone from multiple directions. The Krillians detected the approaching human reinforcements but assumed they were responding to distress calls sent hours earlier. This was how military coordination worked for most galactic species. Emergency messages took time to reach distant commanders, and response fleets took even more time to organize and deploy. But Sarah's forces had been coordinating in real time from the moment the Krillian fleet entered human space. Every human captain knew exactly where to position their ship for maximum tactical advantage. The defensive plan had been developed and modified continuously as the situation evolved. When the battle began, the Krillians found themselves facing a level of coordination they had never encountered before. Human ships moved in perfect formation, anticipating and countering every Krillian maneuver. What should have been a chaotic engagement between scattered forces became a precisely orchestrated defensive action. The Krillian commander could not understand how human forces were responding so quickly to his tactical changes. His own ship struggled with communication delays, that prevented rapid coordination. By the time his orders reached subordinate commanders, the tactical situation had already changed. Within 2 hours, the Krillian fleet was in retreat. They had lost 8 ships while destroying only 1 human vessel. The defeat was so complete that Krillian High Command initially refused to believe the battle reports. News of the victory spread rapidly through both human and alien communication networks. For the first time, a newly spacefaring species had decisively defeated an established galactic military power. The victory was not due to superior weapons or ships, but to coordination and tactical flexibility that seemed impossible, given humanity's primitive technology. Alien military analysts throughout the galaxy began studying recordings of the battle, trying to understand how human forces had achieved such perfect coordination. Most concluded that the humans must have received advanced communication technology from a secret alien ally. The alternative explanation seemed impossible to accept. The human victory over the Krillian fleet sent shockwaves throughout hegemony space. Commander Zara 9, a cybernetic officer from the machine species known as the Nexari, had been analyzing the battle data for weeks. Her artificial brain processed information faster than most organic species, allowing her to spot patterns that others might miss. The coordination displayed by human forces exceeds theoretical maximum efficiency for any known communication system, Zara 9 reported to the Hegemony Council. Their response times suggest instantaneous information transfer across multiple star systems. The council chamber was a vast space where representatives from 12 alien species gathered to discuss galactic affairs. The hegemony had maintained peace and order throughout the galaxy for thousands of years by carefully managing the development of younger civilizations. They provided advanced technology to species that proved worthy while suppressing those that might threaten galactic stability. Impossible, declared Vexthul, the senior representative from the gas-dwelling Etherian species. Our scientists have studied quantum communication for millennia. The energy requirements for instantaneous interstellar communication are prohibitive. No species has ever achieved practical implementation. Kethvar, still monitoring human activities from his observation post, agreed with Vexthul's assessment. I have been watching human development for over 2 years. They use crude, energy-intensive methods for everything. Their fastest ships barely achieve practical faster-than-light speeds. Their communication technology is primitive even by the standards of newly spacefaring civilizations. But Zara 9's analysis told a different story. Her cybernetic implants allowed her to process vast amounts of data without the emotional biases that affected organic species. The battle record showed human ships coordinating with precision that required communication faster than light itself. Perhaps we should investigate more closely, Zara 9 suggested. The evidence strongly indicates that humans have developed communication capabilities beyond our current understanding. The council dismissed her concerns. Most members believed that humans were simply fortunate in their battle against the Krillians. Primitive species occasionally achieved surprising victories through luck or desperation. The idea that humans had surpassed established galactic science was too absurd to consider seriously. On Earth, President Maria Santos convened an emergency meeting in the secure conference room beneath the White House. The attendees included Emma Rodriguez, military strategist Ryan Walsh, and the heads of every major human space agency. The topic was how to respond to increased alien attention following the Krillian victory. Our quantum communication system has given us an enormous strategic advantage, President Santos began. But that advantage only exists as long as other species do not understand what we have achieved. If the galactic hegemony discovers the truth about our technology, they may take action to prevent us from using it. Emma had been thinking about this problem for months. Her discovery had transformed human civilization in ways she never anticipated. Space colonies that once felt isolated now operated as integrated parts of human society. Families separated by interstellar distances could maintain daily contact. Scientists working on different worlds could collaborate in real time. We need to maintain the illusion that we are still a primitive species while secretly expanding our capabilities, Emma suggested. Let them think we got lucky against the Krillians. Meanwhile, we continue building quantum communication networks throughout human space. Ryan Walsh agreed. Our military advantage depends on the enemy underestimating our coordination abilities. If we can make them believe we are weak and disorganized, they will use tactics that play directly into our strengths. The president authorized a secret expansion program. Emma would work with engineer Carlos Bennett to miniaturize quantum communicators and install them in every human ship, space station, and planetary facility. The entire human civilization would become a single connected network, sharing information instantly across any distance. Carlos Bennett had been chosen for his expertise in compact electronics and his ability to work under strict security conditions. He established a hidden manufacturing facility in the asteroid belt where quantum communicators could be produced without attracting alien attention. The devices were designed to look like standard human communication equipment, while actually providing capabilities that surpassed anything in galactic civilization. Within months, every human trader, diplomat, and explorer carried a quantum communicator, disguised as a normal personal communication device. They had no idea they were part of a vast intelligence network that provided Earth with unprecedented awareness of galactic politics and alien activities. Lieutenant Colonel Steve Parker led the most ambitious part of the expansion program. His mission was to establish quantum communication relays in neutral space, creating an invisible information network that could monitor alien ship movements throughout the galaxy. Steve had been chosen because of his experience with covert operations and his ability to think creatively under pressure. Steve's team installed quantum relays disguised as navigation beacons, emergency communication buoys, and scientific monitoring stations. The relays were designed to appear completely normal to alien scanners, while actually forming nodes in humanity's secret communication network. The first major test of the expanded network came when human trader Patricia Wells reported unusual military buildups in 3 different star systems. Her quantum communicator instantly transmitted this information to Earth, where analysts realized the buildups were part of a coordinated hegemony operation. Within hours, every human in the affected regions received updated instructions. Civilian ships altered their routes to avoid potential conflict zones. Military forces repositioned to protect important colonies. Diplomatic missions adjusted their strategies to account for changing political situations. To alien observers, humans seemed to possess an uncanny ability to anticipate events and avoid trouble. Human traders appeared in profitable markets just before prices rose. Human diplomats arrived at negotiations with perfect timing to influence outcomes. Human military forces positioned themselves in exactly the right places to deter aggression. The hegemony's merchant class began reporting increasingly strange encounters with human traders. Captain Hex Nor, a successful Zephyrian businessman, complained to his government about human competitors who seemed to know about market changes before they happened. Human traders are arriving at remote worlds just as local authorities announce new mining discoveries, Hexnor reported. They establish trade agreements mere hours before commodity prices fluctuate in their favor. Either they have developed precognitive abilities, or they possess an information network that exceeds our own. Similar reports came from throughout hegemony space. Human diplomats seemed to anticipate political developments. Human scientists arrived at conferences with research that perfectly complemented ongoing alien projects. Human military attachés asked questions that suggested detailed knowledge of classified alien activities. Some alien leaders began to suspect that humans had access to superior information systems, but the Hegemony Council continued to dismiss these reports as coincidence or paranoia. The idea that a recently spacefaring species could have developed technology superior to established galactic civilization contradicted everything they believed about technological development. Kethvar received orders to investigate human information capabilities more thoroughly. He deployed advanced scanning equipment designed to detect exotic communication technologies. But Emma's quantum communicators operated on principles that alien science did not recognize. The scanners detected normal electromagnetic emissions, while completely missing the quantum entanglement networks that carried actual information. The investigation concluded that human communication technology remained primitive and inefficient. Kethvar reported that humans were simply better at gathering information through conventional espionage and careful observation. This explanation satisfied the Hegemony Council, while completely missing the revolutionary breakthrough that was transforming human civilization. Admiral Kethvar stood before the assembled Hegemony Council, his blue-scaled hands clasped behind his back as he presented his final assessment of human capabilities. The Grand Chamber buzzed with tension as representatives from 12 alien species debated humanity's growing influence in galactic affairs. Humans have become increasingly bold in their expansion efforts, Kethvar reported. Their colonies now occupy 17 star systems, and their trade networks reach into neutral space. While their technology remains primitive, their aggressive expansion threatens the stability of established galactic order. The Council had been receiving disturbing reports for months. Human settlements were appearing in strategic locations throughout the galaxy. Human traders were disrupting established markets with their uncanny ability to anticipate supply and demand. Human diplomats were forming alliances with species that had remained neutral for centuries. Perhaps it is time to remind humanity of their proper place in galactic civilization, suggested Vex Thule, his gaseous form shifting with agitation. A demonstration of superior force would encourage them to moderate their ambitions. The proposal found support among several council members. The Hegemony had used such demonstrations many times in the past to guide the development of younger species. A carefully planned show of force would establish clear boundaries without causing permanent damage to human civilization. "I volunteer to lead the demonstration," Kethvar announced. "My fleet can be assembled within 1 month. We will approach the human colony of New Eden with overwhelming force and demand their acknowledgement of hegemony authority. When humans see the futility of resistance, they will accept guidance toward proper development." The Council approved the plan unanimously. 200 of the galaxy's most advanced warships would converge on New Eden to deliver an unmistakable message about human limitations. The fleet would include vessels from all 12 hegemony species, demonstrating the unity and power of galactic civilization. Preparations began immediately. Kethvar assembled the largest military force deployed in decades, confident that such overwhelming power would convince humanity to abandon their rebellious expansion. His battle plan relied on proven tactics that had worked against countless other species: surround the target world, disrupt enemy communications, and demonstrate superior firepower until the enemy surrendered. The Hegemony fleet departed from their staging area with great ceremony. Representatives from major alien worlds gathered to witness the launch of ships that embodied thousands of years of technological advancement. Each vessel was a masterpiece of engineering, armed with weapons that could destroy entire cities and protected by shields that had never been penetrated. Meanwhile, Captain Nicole Adams received an urgent quantum communication while commanding the defense fleet at New Eden. The message came directly from Earth Defense Command and contained detailed information about the approaching hegemony force. "Captain Adams, long-range sensors have detected a massive alien fleet heading for your position," the message reported. "Intelligence estimates suggest 200 hostile vessels representing all major hegemony species. You are authorized to coordinate with all available human forces for system defense." Nicole immediately activated the secure quantum communication network that connected her with every human military commander within 50 light-years. Within minutes, she was coordinating with captains throughout human space, developing a defense strategy that would have been impossible with conventional communication technology. "We are facing the largest military force ever assembled against humanity," Nicole announced during the quantum conference. "But our enemies still believe we cannot coordinate effectively across interstellar distances. We will use their assumption against them." The defense plan that emerged from the quantum conference was unlike anything attempted in galactic military history. Instead of concentrating forces at New Eden, human ships would remain scattered throughout the region. They would use quantum coordination to operate as a single distributed organism, striking at hegemony forces from multiple directions while maintaining perfect tactical awareness. Dr. Emma Rodriguez, now serving as a strategic communications advisor, coordinated not just military forces but civilian resources throughout human space. Mining operations redirected their automated ships to serve as reconnaissance platforms. Research stations became intelligence-gathering nodes. Even individual human settlements contributed to the defensive network by monitoring space traffic and reporting unusual activities. The quantum network allowed humanity to function as a single collective intelligence while maintaining individual creativity and initiative. Every human commander could contribute tactical innovations that were instantly shared across the entire force. Every piece of information was immediately available to anyone who needed it. As the hegemony fleet approached New Eden, Kethvar was confident of easy victory. His formation included the most powerful warships in the galaxy, crewed by experienced officers who had never known defeat. The human colony appeared to be defended by only 20 ships, making resistance seem hopeless. Attention human vessels. Kethvar broadcast on standard galactic frequencies. You are surrounded by the combined military might of the galactic hegemony. Surrender immediately and prepare to receive terms for your integration into proper galactic civilization. Captain Nicole Adams responded calmly. Hegemony Fleet. You are ordered to withdraw from human space immediately. Your presence here constitutes an act of aggression against a sovereign interstellar civilization. Kethvar was amused by the human response. 20 primitive ships challenging 200 advanced warships seemed like the ultimate expression of human foolishness. He ordered his fleet to demonstrate their superiority by destroying several human vessels with minimal casualties. But as the first hegemony ships moved to attack positions, they encountered something completely unexpected. Human forces throughout. The star system began coordinating actions with impossible precision. Ships that appeared to be fleeing suddenly turned to deliver perfect flanking attacks. Defensive positions that seemed abandoned revealed hidden weapon platforms at exactly the right moments. The quantum communication network allowed human forces to anticipate and counter every hegemony tactic before it could be fully implemented. While alien commanders struggled with communication delays and hierarchical command structures, human forces adapted to changing situations in real time. How are they coordinating so effectively? Kethvar demanded, as his carefully planned formation began to fragment under constant pressure from multiple directions. Their communication system should not permit this level of coordination. His communications officer reported increasing chaos throughout the hegemony fleet. Ships were receiving contradictory orders as commanders tried to adapt to rapidly changing tactical situations. The traditional command hierarchy that worked well during conventional battles became a liability when facing an enemy that operated as a unified organism. Emma Rodriguez monitored the battle from her command center on Luna Station, coordinating information flow between hundreds of human commanders. Her quantum network allowed real-time tactical analysis that surpassed anything achieved in galactic military history. Every weapon fired, every ship movement, every communication intercept was instantly available to human forces throughout the battle zone. The engagement that Kethvar expected to conclude in hours stretched into days as his superior numbers and firepower were neutralized by human coordination. Hegemony ships found themselves isolated and overwhelmed by perfectly timed attacks from multiple directions. What should have been an easy victory became a nightmare of tactical confusion and strategic failure. The battle reached its climax when human forces used quantum coordination to execute a simultaneous attack from 17 different directions. Every human ship struck at precisely the same moment, targeting critical hegemony vessels while their defenses were focused elsewhere. The coordinated assault destroyed 12 alien warships and disabled 30 more in less than 10 minutes. Faced with unprecedented losses and tactical defeat, Kethvar ordered his remaining forces to withdraw. The mighty hegemony fleet that had approached New Eden with such confidence limped away in complete disorder, leaving behind the wreckage of their technological superiority and strategic assumptions. The news of the hegemony fleet's defeat spread throughout the galaxy, faster than anyone thought possible. On hundreds of worlds, alien species that had accepted hegemony dominance for thousands of years suddenly questioned everything they believed about technological superiority and military power. For the first time in galactic history, a newly spacefaring species had not only resisted the hegemony, but had decisively outmaneuvered their most advanced military forces. Dr. Emma Rodriguez sat in her expanded laboratory on Luna Station, surrounded by quantum communication equipment that now connected human civilization across dozens of star systems. She had been monitoring galactic communications networks, watching as the implications of humanity's victory rippled through alien societies. The breakthrough that began with her simple experiment had become something far greater than she ever imagined. "Emma, we're receiving communication requests from 17 different alien species," reported Jake Morrison, her former assistant who now coordinated humanity's expanding quantum network. "Most of them are asking about our communication technology. Some are offering to trade for access to our systems." Emma had been expecting this moment since the battle at New Eden. Her quantum communication breakthrough could no longer remain secret. The tactical advantages it provided were too obvious to hide. Now humanity faced a choice about how to share this revolutionary technology with the galaxy. "Schedule meetings with the representatives from the Valdari Rebellion first," Emma decided. "They've been fighting hegemony oppression for decades. If we're going to change the galactic order, we should start with species that want freedom." The Valdari were a proud warrior species that had been conquered by the hegemony 300 years earlier. Their leader, a charismatic figure named Thex Moore, had been organizing resistance activities across multiple star systems. But like all rebels fighting against the hegemony, the Valdari suffered from poor communication and coordination between scattered resistance cells. Emma met with Thex Moore aboard a neutral trading station on the edge of hegemony space. The Valdari leader was an impressive figure, standing nearly 3 meters tall with 4 powerful arms and scales that shifted color with his emotions. His species had evolved on a high-gravity world where physical strength was essential for survival. "Dr. Rodriguez, your people have achieved something we thought impossible," Thex Moore said, his scales displaying patterns of respect and amazement. "You defeated the greatest military force in the galaxy using inferior ships and weapons. How did you accomplish this miracle?" Emma explained the principles of quantum communication, carefully describing how her technology allowed instantaneous coordination across any distance. Thex Moore listened intently, his warrior's mind immediately grasping the tactical implications. "With such communication capabilities, our scattered resistance cells could coordinate as a unified force," Thex Moore realized. "We could strike simultaneously across dozens of worlds, while the hegemony command structure struggles with communication delays." "That's exactly what we're offering," Emma replied. "But in exchange, we need your commitment to use this technology for liberation, not conquest. The galaxy has seen enough of species dominating others through superior force." The agreement with the Valdari became the model for humanity's approach to galactic revolution. Emma and her team would provide quantum communication technology to oppressed species and independence movements, but only to those who agreed to principles of equality and mutual respect. Within months, the technology spread through galactic underground networks. Species that had been subjugated for generations suddenly found themselves able to coordinate resistance activities with unprecedented efficiency. The rigid hierarchical structure that had maintained galactic order for millennia began to crumble as information flowed freely between previously isolated worlds. General Kevin Brooks, who had earned his reputation during the defense of New Eden, found himself leading a coalition of human and alien forces in a series of liberation campaigns. His quantum-coordinated fleet included ships from 15 different species, all working together with perfect tactical unity. "This is Task Force Liberation calling all resistance cells," Kevin broadcast across the quantum network during the campaign to free the Harathi homeworld. "Synchronized strikes begin in 30 seconds. Remember, we fight not for conquest, but for the right of all species to determine their own destiny." The battle for Harathi Prime demonstrated the revolutionary potential of quantum-coordinated warfare. While hegemony defenders struggled with traditional command hierarchies and communication delays, the liberation forces operated as a single organism. Ships from different species with different technologies and tactical doctrines coordinated their actions with precision that seemed impossible to outside observers. The hegemony military, built around assumptions of technological superiority and centralized command, could not adapt to an enemy that shared information instantaneously and made decisions collectively. Their advantage in individual ship capabilities became meaningless when facing opponents who anticipated every move and responded with perfect coordination. Commander Zara 9, the Nexari officer who had first warned about human capabilities, watched the liberation of Harathi Prime from her command ship. Her cybernetic brain processed the tactical data with growing amazement and concern. The coordination displayed by liberation forces exceeds the theoretical maximum for any known command structure, she reported to Hegemony High Command. They are functioning as a distributed intelligence network rather than a traditional military hierarchy. Our conventional tactics are completely ineffective against such an opponent. But the hegemony leadership remained in denial about the changing nature of galactic warfare. They continued to believe that superior technology and overwhelming force would eventually prevail against primitive rebels using stolen communication equipment. The revolution reached its climax when liberation forces launched simultaneous uprisings on 47 hegemony worlds. Emma Rodriguez coordinated the communications network that made such unprecedented coordination possible. Every rebel leader, every resistance cell, every liberation ship was connected through quantum entanglement to a network that spanned the entire galaxy. All liberation forces. This is Dr. Emma Rodriguez coordinating from Luna Station, she broadcast across the quantum network. Today we demonstrate that freedom and cooperation are stronger than oppression and hierarchy. Strike now for the liberation of the galaxy. The simultaneous uprisings overwhelmed the hegemony's ability to respond. Their centralized command structure, dependent on slow traditional communication, could not coordinate defensive actions across such a vast area. By the time orders reached distant commanders, the tactical situation had already changed completely. World after world declared independence from hegemony control. Species that had accepted alien dominance for thousands of years suddenly found themselves free to determine their own futures. The quantum communication network that had begun with Emma's simple experiment became the foundation for a new galactic civilization based on voluntary cooperation rather than enforced hierarchy. The final confrontation came when Admiral Keth Var requested a meeting with Emma Rodriguez to formally surrender hegemony authority over the liberated worlds. They met on a neutral space station that had been constructed by volunteers from dozens of species working together. Dr. Rodriguez, I must acknowledge that the hegemony underestimated humanity's potential, Keth Var admitted, his proud bearing diminished by the weight of total defeat. We assumed that technological advancement required thousands of years of gradual development. We never considered that a young species might approach familiar problems from completely new directions. Emma nodded respectfully. Your mistake was believing that progress only comes through accumulating power and controlling others. Humanity's greatest achievement was not building better weapons or faster ships. We learned how to connect with each other across any distance and work together as equals. The meeting concluded with the establishment of the new Galactic Federation, a voluntary association of species committed to mutual respect and shared technological development. Emma Rodriguez became humanity's first ambassador to the Federation, representing a species that had transformed from galactic newcomers to revolutionary leaders in less than 2 years. The quantum communication network that had started in a small laboratory on Luna Station became the backbone of galactic civilization. Species throughout the galaxy used Emma's technology to coordinate peaceful exploration, scientific research, and cultural exchange. The age of domination through superior force had ended, replaced by an era of cooperation enabled by instantaneous communication. As Emma stood in the new Federation Assembly Hall, watching representatives from hundreds of species working together in real time through quantum networks, she reflected on the journey that had brought them to this moment. Her simple breakthrough in quantum mechanics had not only elevated humanity, but had sparked a revolution that reshaped the entire galaxy. The universe had learned that true advancement came not from the ability to build more powerful weapons, but from the wisdom to connect diverse minds in the pursuit of shared goals.